guys, welcome. This is Jen with Unchained Crochet. Thanks for joining me. I have done a couple hooks now and modified them to be ergonomic hooks, and wanted to show how I make those and just have a little chit chat while we're at it. So I'm very excited. I bought some new polish today. I do paint my nails as well, so it's not just for the handles, because I couldn't really excuse the cost of that. You know, I couldn't say, oh, well, it's cheap to make. Because if you go out and just buy polish just for the handles, it's not affordable. And this $38, $40 we're spending on these fancy hooks, they are nice, but that's money that could pay, you know, cash that could be for stash. So no shaming here. I just know that I'd rather spend money on my yarn. So, and this is fun to do. I literally paint them with fingernail polish at night while I'm watching TV with just nothing but the light of the TV on. So once you get it through with the rolling and everything, right now I'm kind of warming it up some more. I've had it stashed away in my pocket to warm it up and get it more pliable. I also want to make it thinner than my other two handles I've done, which is a bit of a challenge to get it as thin as you want. So I'm starting out with about 1 inch by 1/2 inch piece, I think. I think that's where we're going to start. I might add a little bit more. So you'll just want to like finger knead it and then start rolling. This is just plain old fimo clay. Any kind of clay that you bake in the oven, I imagine could work. Fimo does hold up though. I've used it for buttons, and they've been through the wash several times and have held up for the most part. Had a puppy chew some of them off. So, you know, I just decided for me right now, even though I love some of these fancy hooks, $30, $40 for one crochet hook, it's just nonsense. So I decided to do my own nonsense and make my own hook handle. So I've got a nice round shape right now. It's about the size of those candy buckeyes. So that's what you want. Get it nice and smooth as you can. You know, work out any creases from the bending and everything as you were getting it ready to warm up. So the friction helps to warm it, helps make it a little bit more pliable. Got a new phone the other day. Sorry, I'm starting to sweat. It's hot up in here, boss. Got a new phone the other day. Love the phone. The picture's great. And hopefully the lighting's okay. I had to put the table selfie up here to get it close enough. And still have the selfie lamp behind that. So hopefully this will be pretty easy to see for you all. If not, you'll get the gist of it. But when I got the new phone, the guy put the screen protector on with the kit for me, and he said, hey, you want these? Because I had already swiped the little glass cleaning cloths for my reading glasses. And, you know, we got two new phones, so I got two little reading glass cleaners. And then he said, do you want these? They're just little, I think they're silicone rollers. So I'm going to see how it works with rolling out this. You basically want to get this flattened out. And my finger just slipped off of it, put a big crease in it, but just keep going and going with it, just side to side. I think it's better by hand. So pound it out, work it out, smush it out. You want to get it fairly elongated. I think I'm going to need to add more clay, which is a big bummer. So we're going back to the beginning here. Let's see, what can we talk about? Let's talk about my shawl. I like to wear a crocheted or a knit piece every time I do a show. It always makes me feel feminine. This is one of my shawls I crocheted that it's not my pattern. I don't recall the name of the pattern. It's asymmetrical. You can see I did it with mandala. I think it was the pixie colorway. And it just, I adore it. I don't wear it enough. And I just fastened with my shawl pick. I was going to wear one of my knit shawls. And I'll tell you what, I spent so much time knitting shawls. And there's only like one or two that's gives me the coverage and the way it lays and everything. Lays good for me. So I much prefer crochet for shawls. This one is asymmetrical, and it has this little leaf pattern to it that ends with a little bit of a bobble. Love those. I could try to find the pattern if anyone is interested in wanting that pattern. I'm not totally against patterns. My goal is to really help you learn to crochet to fit for you. And if you learn to do that and learn to break free of patterns for a while, you'll learn better how to modify patterns to work for you. So I'm just gonna do it like I've been doing it. Forget that stupid roller. And I'm just rolling it between my hands right now. And it will get longer and longer the more you do it. And you'll have to kind of move up and down the little cylinder shape. Try to just get it slimmed out for now. I'm gonna try not to go so far up on my neck this time. Once the neck is, once your needle's covered, it's hard to see where that, because you're gonna roll it some more. It's hard to see exactly where that label to the hook went. But you don't want to get it so far up there that you can't work at your normal speed of crochet. I realized today when I swing my crochet hook into the stitch, it gets pretty deep into that stitch. So now I've got it on the counter. I'm just going to roll it back and forth just a little bit. My base is a little bit thicker, but I don't care. It'll be fine. I think I need to get a little bit skinnier. You want to get it where your hook is going to be able to fit inside that, because we're going to mash the hook down into the clay. That looks like it's almost there. I'm just going to go just a little bit further. Once you mash it down, then that pushes the clay to the sides a little bit, and then you can start working it around to the front of the hook. Again, don't be a perfectionist, especially with your first one. Let me get the butcher knife. I'm going to go ahead and set my oven on 265. Sorry, this takes a bit because it starts automatically at 350. You don't want to bake it over 265. I almost fell. My knees still kind of wibble wobble. I'm going to bury this. I'm going to push it into the cylinder of clay I just made, the little worm. And I'm going to go almost to the top of the branding, because when I roll it again, it's going to push it up toward the neck, and I don't want to get that too far up the neck. So I've got about where I need it. I'm going to cut off this excess here. I like to leave about a ½ inch or so, maybe 3/8 of an inch, to extend below the hook. Let me see if I can, let me push it in and then I'll show you. You just want to firmly press your hook into that. And if it's a little crooked, it's okay. Just work with it. Make it work. That is my motto. Make it work. And then kind of roll it towards you a little bit. Pull it to get it to come. But that's all you need to do is mash it in. I'm going to mash it in just a little bit more. See how it's kind of proud. It's standing proud of the clay a little bit too much in spots, like right where my finger's at. A little proud right here. It's not into it very good yet. So I'm going to mash it a little bit. You want to kind of halfway bury it. You don't want to bury it all the way. You don't want to steal all that clay from the back. See if you can see a difference. It's hard to show the detail. Okay, and that's about how far up I am on the neck, just above that label. So now that I've got that, I'm looking at this extra clay. I'm going to shave a little bit off of the clay. It looks like just a little bit too much clay on the sides. You can always add back a little bit more, but I'm taking some of this extra off. Have not done that before, so hoping I didn't just mess up my little make-do system. We will see. I am sweating like there's no tomorrow. And I just turned the heat down. I think it's the shawl and the heat and just combination of being almost 47. I'm getting old. Tried a new hairdo today. A little bit more curly. Not my thing. I like my natural curl. So, okay, now we've got that. And I've trimmed the sides of it. And you can see it's kind of halfway buried. So now you want to begin to work it, just gently pushing the corners and working that clay on around. Since the hook is halfway buried, you can kind of play with the clay a little bit and just push it around. I should probably grab my gooseneck so you can see from above, but you'll get the hang of it. Just kind of bring those sides in till they start meeting up. And at this stage, it doesn't matter if it's lumpy and bumpy. We're just trying to get that coverage and get it to meet up. You might need to push it from the back a little bit if it feels like you got more in the back than the front or on the sides. But basically rolling it in your hands again is going to smooth out like that bump there. I don't know if you can see it, it's hard to see. There's a bump right here. That's gonna like meet up, be mushed in, and we will try to get rid of that crease. Now, as you work the clay around your hook, you'll see you're starting to get more excess. That's why I trimmed it down to 3/8 of an inch or so. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish meeting these edges up, and before I forget where the bottom of my hook is, I'm just gonna pinch that off, okay? So now I've got all of the edges are meeting up. It's messy, but that's just the nature of it. And then I've got it pinched in. So what we're gonna do is roll it again. And you can let it roll up your neck of your hook a little bit. Get it a little thinner up there. That's nice. Then you don't get yarn caught on it and everything else. So the rest of it, just kind of try to keep it even in your hand. And I would say it's moderate pressure. You don't want to squeeze it. We don't want to clobber it or anything. We just want to get it pretty smoothed out. So just roll and roll and roll, and you can move your hands up and down it as you go. I usually focus a little bit on one area, get it smoothed out, and then head down the hook. Talk like I've been doing 10 or 20 of these. This is my third one. Okay, so I still have got some creases there. Let's see, right there. Kind of shiny, but there's creases there. I just take my thumb or my finger and kind of smush it just a bit and rub it. Surface rub it, don't mash it. Kind of like if a kid has Kool-Aid on their face, which I'll tell you a funny story here in a minute. But, you know, I don't know about your moms, but my mom, she used too much pressure to get my Kool-Aid mustache off. One time I was like 3 and I had fallen out of bed in the middle of the night and had the linoleum floor in my room and busted my chin open. And so mom panics, you know, me and mom and dad were all in the truck and dad's flying like a bat out of you know what. And mom looks at me and my chin, we still got paper towels and stuff held up to my chin, and she starts going, licking her thumb, and she's rubbing that Kool-Aid mustache off of me. So don't want to use the pressure you would use to do that. We're not, you know, trying to get Kool-Aid off. Trying to get this shaped, nicely shaped, and get some fingernail polish on it. I'm going to go toward the top again. I kind of just like let it bounce back and forth, do what it wants to do. And you can give the top a little pinch or so if you want, just here and there, so that it gets more flush with the hook, more blended. And then we're also going to cut the excess off of the top. I don't worry about the bottom part that's pinched right now. I just keep rolling. I'm going to focus on the bottom a little bit more now. And as you're rolling, remember your snakes get longer as you roll. So if it's too thick for you, start rolling at the top and then work your way toward the bottom, and that extra is going to come down to the bottom of the hook. And then you're going to have some more to cut off. But don't try to peek in there and see, well, where is it at? Just cut some off. If you cut too much off, you can always add some more on. I'm going to cut off another 1/4 of an inch. And see, I got too close. The butt of my hook's coming out. But that also tells me I'm a little thin on the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mash it, and seat the butt of that even more. And I'm going to add that clay back. Whoopsie whoopsie. Whoopsie doopsie doo. Okay. Hopefully it gets added back okay. I don't know. But I'm just going to smush it together. You can always cut the bottom part totally off so you don't have to worry about cutting your butt off like I did. I mean, I want to lose some butt, but not this butt. So I am just blending that little seam together with my finger. I'm going to push it around because it does feel like it's going to pop through the other side a little bit. Really, before I would have been almost done. Had I not cut too much off, I would have about done, ready to bake this. Oh, and parchment paper is your friend. I think it would be okay. Just put it on a, you know, a cookie sheet that is, you know, the stick-free or whatever cookie sheets. And I'm about happy with mine, I think. Any other little bumps and stuff, they will work out in the wash because you're going to polish this up pretty good. And also, for your other supplies, you could use some black emery boards. Those are usually the roughest. Or you can get the tan kind. You don't have to worry about it leaving marks after it's baked. I wouldn't worry about that. But I've got a beautiful periwinkle blue that's going to be for the top portion. And then the bottom is going to be this charcoal. It's charcoal. You really can't see it. I'll get the other gooseneck and show it from a downward angle when it's done. But this will be part 1 of the video. It's a charcoal with a lot of fine glitter in it. And then to ombre and blend them together, I'm going to use this pretty sparkle purplish pinkish. It's like strobe lights inside. And then I'm going to seal it. I don't know if I meant to buy 2 of these, but I got 2 Diamond Strength Sally Hansen. Sally Hansen's great. Yeah, this is Sally Hansen Diamond Strength. This one's Sally Hansen Hard as Nails. I got it because of the color. And then this one is Insta Dry. The glitter is Insta Dry. So you're going to have to work fast with the glitter if you're wanting to keep it wet and in motion. Otherwise, the glitter is going to have a tendency to stick wherever you put it because it's a fast dry. So I am about there. Trying to get a full revolution with the hook helps with getting the back and front mass of the clay, you know, somewhat even, you know, so where you got the same amount on the back versus the front. I got little bits of clay everywhere. And don't throw your bits of clay away. You can put it with some other clay and make another one, which I'm going to do later. I'm doing my G-hook, which I started a G-hook project today that is just fabulous. It's using the Cotton Kings Twirl Deluxe. And that's going to be a kind of a crochet along, I hope. A bit of a mystery. Is it any wonder my mother said I have a demon, a crafty demon when I was younger? She said, you have a crafty demon and his name is Art. She's so witty. She is so witty. Oh, love my mama. So, that little bit, you know, and if I got that, I got it from her because she is a wonderful artist and she's a wonderful friend to me as well. I just chopped off a bit of the top. I'm going to go around it again. I just roll it off like that. It sticks to the ceramic knife. So as you go around, you can just roll it. And then so that that's not a square looking edge there, just kind of smush it a little bit. The more you work with this, the softer it's going to get and easier to move around. So you have to be aware of that and be careful. Otherwise, you're going to manhandle it and it's going to end up a mess. Okay, so like my daughter said when her sister was poking the littlest, our third baby, in the eye, I was in my hospital bed. My mom had had the girls for 2 days and had been telling my 19-month-old, we're going to go see the baby. You want to go see your baby? Your baby? Your baby? Want to go see your baby? We're going to go see your baby. So she was all excited being 19 months. She thought she was getting a baby, and she just expected mom to hand Allison over, and she was like, on video. And Mom was like, no, you can't hold her on this floor. And then next thing you know, and I didn't even get to see all this because of all the action going on, and I was on medicine, but I seen it on the home video. And Mom had said, oh, no, don't poke her in the eye. So Emily, the middle one, she starts poking herself in the eye. My mom says, don't poke yourself in the eye either, honey. And then my big ham oldest, Beth, she says, softly, sis, into the camera, really cute. Softly, sis. So don't be poking anybody in the eyes. Anyway, you don't want to manhandle it. But if you do, you can always take it off and start all over again. All right, nothing's done with that until you bake it in the oven. I've got this much extra from the big wad I pulled off, so when I added more, I probably didn't need to add more. I just needed to keep rolling. I think I'm pretty much happy with this one. It looks like it's 3/8 of an inch wide. Maybe with an inch diameter or so. I don't know what that would work out to. So I've already prepared my cookie sheet. Here is the cookie sheet. It's just going to go onto the parchment paper right here. Don't have to watch it bake or anything. Oh, and I forgot. This end, it never is even, the bottom edge. So I like to take the butt and just kind of bounce it on the counter. I have granite counters. You could use a marble cutting board or any kind of cutting board that's smooth, I imagine would work. Wood would be my last choice. But just kind of bounce it up and down. That flattens out your bottom. I don't want it to go too hard on mine and pop out that end again. So, all right, that one is ready for the oven. So I'm going to pop it in the oven. And it needs to bake. The thicker it is, the longer it needs to bake. Don't go over 265. And I just put it on the middle rack. The middle rack. And then I set the timer. So we will set the timer. Buttons, I usually do 20 minutes. This is a bit thicker, bigger object. I'm going to do 25 minutes. It's not going to hurt it. And I'm not even sure, it doesn't say preheat. I'm going to add a little time to it because I don't think it ever beeped saying it was preheated, so I added 3 minutes or so. So here's the very first one I did. It's too fat to fit in my new needle hook case I sewed and made a button for. And I don't care because I don't like those tips. That was my practice one. I don't like boy needles. I like baits. So that's my G-hook that's in there. Later on, I'm going to hit this one. And I don't care if my colors on my polishes match the hook or not. These are already color coded. And I can tell by looking at it that, you know, it's this size or that size. The I's with baits are red. The H's are blue. H is my favorite. And then that one's kind of pinkish, the G-hook, and then an F is kind of a silvery color. So I think that's all I need to show you for now. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video. Give me a second. I don't have a clicker. Coming around on a bad knee. Hi everybody, this is Jen. This is part 2. I'm going to try to merge the videos and do a little editing. Going to get brave, but the other one got cut off and then I think it recorded some stuff I didn't want on there. So this would be part 2. You're watching Unchained Crochet and we are making some hook handles out of polymer clay. This is my next victim right there. But right now I have a G-hook that I have covered with polymer clay. A little bit dimply, but that's all going to get smoothed out. I have not tried this yet, really where it was effective because my file was worn out. But you can just go up and down it a little bit. Sorry for the shakiness. This gooseneck's not the most stable on here. I am tired, so I'm kind of lazy talking. I apologize for that. I just took my medicine for my knee. So, you know, this will smooth out some bumps, blemishes. Don't have to get them all out. You get enough nail polish coats on there and you'll be just fine. So I'm just kind of prepping it, getting ready to paint it. I'm gonna go around this edge a bit so that it is nice and round. So this baked in the oven for 25 minutes, and then I let it cool for about 10 minutes or so, maybe not even that much. The hook part was still hot. I accidentally touched it, but you can touch the fimo clay way sooner than you can touch the hook, because the hook is metal. The fimo clay, you literally just can take it off the pan almost immediately. It's a bit warm like a hot potato, but not like a hot poker. I am pretty happy with this one. I'm not going to do a lot of sanding. Getting that dimple out of the bottom. Get rid of some creases. Do not aim to get like all your waviness out of it. You'll be filing all night if that's what you want to do. But I would rather get on with the painting, and especially with the glitter, a lot of that stuff just doesn't show. I've got a section here with a bunch of dimples I'm working on. There's a fingernail spot or something there. So overall, it looks pretty good, I believe. And so now I'm just using this old yucky placemat, Fruit of the Spirit. It's got some Galatians verse on it. And first we're gonna base coat this. I like Sally Hansen Miracle Gel the best, but they are quite expensive. They're almost $10 at Walmart. I think they might be $8 or so. And really, I've used the Diamond Strength. I've used the Insta Dry. I mean, hard as nails. I've used all of these, and they're all pretty good. Once you get it sealed, and you could actually get the sealer for the Miracle Gel that's lightless. You can get the Miracle Gel in clear for the top coat. It's step 2. So this is fine for me. I'm happy with that. Also, you want to have a spool. As you hold it like this and you paint it, and this end gets drier, maybe the rest of it's still a little gooey or tacky, you can just pop it into your thread, your spool of thread, and let the rest of it really set up. So, you know, overall, it's such a busy design, you're not really going to notice any major flaws in it. You know, you can see here. It's just so pretty. That's kind of a rose gold color glitter on that one. And it has the ombre. Bit chunky for my taste. So I've gone a bit smaller, hoping this one will fit into my crochet hook case. I'm going to pause for just a second and get a drink. Okay, I pre-shook my bottles before because I know that the gooseneck was going to shake like crazy. So I'm going to start first with a base coat of the lighter color. This got busted coming out of Walmart or something. Fell out of the bag, so it's leaking. I've had it on its side. I'm hoping it'll kind of just fill itself in and be good to go, but I am still going to use it. Hopefully it won't make a mess all over my hands. I've not done my nails yet, so I just hold it in my hand like that and start painting away. Also, the Miracle Gel, it has a wider flat brush. And I do love that brush. This one is a bit skinnier, so it is going to take a bit of time to get the coverage that I need. But I think, you know, a couple coats of this will do. And you can turn it between your fingers as you go. If it gets a little thick, just keep working it down. See how pretty? This is a periwinkle blue color. Overlap as you go. Try to just get that coverage. Turn it with your other hand if need be. Overlap and kind of work quick in that one area so you don't get more lumps and bumps. And it is a little thick, so I'm going to be dragging it down. I feel like I should have that music playing that Don't Bring Me Down. Don't bring me down. I always think of songs when I'm doing my videos. I don't know why. I think they just make me feel happy-go-lucky, especially songs from my childhood. As it gets harder to turn, push it up on your hand. I'm holding it between my ring finger and my middle finger. This one's going to be so beautiful. I can't wait to have it done. And the colors somewhat match the hook. The glitter especially matches the hook, which was not a priority of mine, but since I seen it, I just start grabbing colors that I think will work well together. You want some contrast between, if you're going to do the ombre look, you want some contrast between your lighter color and your darker color, and let your glitter really do some blending. I'm getting gooey up at the top, but that is okay. So this first base coat's kind of thick. I am liking how fast it's going on though, so it'll all come out in the wash. If it doesn't, you can file it down and you can put more clear coats on. You know, if the nail polish is a bit thick in spots, just file it down a little bit after it dries and have a go at it. It's funny, I've been watching Granny D earlier while I was waiting for this to get done in the oven. Granny D, she's got a great YouTube channel. I think it's Squirrel Knits and something with Granny D. If you just look up Granny D, D-E-E, you'll find her. Such a lovely personality. I love, love, love you, Granny D. And I do plan to join in on your lives as well as have some of my own soon. But for now, I'm just trying to get established a little bit. So, I have my Wild Violets cardigan series I've been working on, and I realized that the math was not as easy as I had thought. See, because I stitch and just make it up as I go a lot of times. And I made up a stitch pattern repeat. See, now that's wet. We don't want to touch that. So I'm going to stay here on the back. I don't recommend that you do this after a fresh manicure. I'm waiting to do mine. I'm going to match my hook. So, right now I'm going to move this hook. I kind of went a little too far. And I'm going to get it where I can hold it with my thumbnail and my thumb. So, what was I talking about? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, the Wild Violets cardigan. I was struggling coming up with how I did, to do the math so that you could have a tutorial on it and it work out and be the numbers you need it to be for your size. And so last night I decided, if I got that figured out, and my daughter helped me update my Instagram and actually use Instagram to stay in touch and to be able to load up charts for my stitch pattern repeat. I decided if I did that, then I would go ahead and allow myself to start one more project with the Cotton Kings Deluxe from Hobby, however you say it. And I made it. So, and I also, in the meantime, figured out a way to make a crochet hook or a crochet chart that is easier to follow than the traditional crochet charts where it looks like stitches. It's kind of a merge between that and knitting charts. So I just put a little bit more on the butt there. Sorry, I have no better word to use. The end, on the flat end. Smooth that edge out just a bit. So that is the first one. Normally I do this by the light of the TV and nothing else. You may hear some hissing noises, and I'm not gonna lie, I use an e-cigarette and I vape. I vape and my coffee, those are my two vices. Once in a while I have a little vodka or Jim Beam apple flavor mixed with some juice, but I'm not big on drinking, never really have been. So my vape is what I turn to when I shouldn't. I believe in God and Jesus and I pray, but I know when I get walking this spring, I want to lose some more weight, lose weight again. I know when I do that, I don't like to vape when I'm walking, so I know that's going to help. And I'm also planning to ride my bike when my knee gets better. I'm going to get out there and just do it. I used to, when I lost almost 100 pounds 7 years ago or so, all I did was started riding my bike and walking, and didn't change my diet or anything. Obviously, that caused me to start drinking more water. But I would set out, even if I didn't feel like going much, and I was like, I'm just going to do a half hour. You know, just get out and go do that. And I'd go out with the mindset to do a half hour, and I would have it turn into 4 hours of bike riding. So I'm looking forward so much to getting out once it warms up. We're in Indy area, and I just want to get out there and just hit the trails, you know. There's an old railroad track that runs through our town, and they've made it into a riding trail, and you can ride down and go down by a creek and everything. So it's really cool, especially since I grew up here in this town. So I do plan to get out there and get doing that, and hopefully quit vaping. But for now, I'm vaping, and I love to vape. Alright, so since this is ombre, I usually start with a lighter color. We've got the periwinkle blue on. It's not quite ready. I think this one's drying a little bit slow since I did it thick, so we're just going to keep chit-chatting. So since I worked on the math and got the Wild Violets stitch pattern repeat math worked out, and then my daughter helped me with Instagram, and I got like 40-some Instagram followers. I don't think they're all crochet. Since my last name is Nigerian, my husband's from Nigeria, a lot of seems to be Nigerian men have followed me, and Jennifer is my first name, and Jennifer Aminu is the name of a famous actress there in Nollywood, according to my husband. So I have that popular name, and there's not very many Jennifer Aminus, probably just us two. And so anyway, I did get some crocheter followers on Instagram, and so I'm glad about that. But I plan to use the Instagram to upload any charts or tutorial notes to be able to pass them out. So I'll link them in my descriptions of my videos, and then you can click it and you can go and you can print it. So I figured that would be the easiest way, and also to open up to other social media venues, or whatever they call them, social media sites. And so Instagram is up and going. As my reward for doing those two things, for working out the math and working out the Instagram thing, I allowed myself to start another project, and I think we're going to make it a crochet along. That's if anybody wants to do the crochet along, and kind of fly by the seat of our pants. I've started it, and I'm using the same stitch pattern repeat. I may incorporate a dragonfly stitch section into the same Wild Violets stitch repeat. So be watching for that. I'm using the Cotton Kings Deluxe Twirls, or whatever, Twirls Deluxe, in the Burma Sky or something like that, Burma something. And it's beautiful. It starts with magenta and fades very slowly to the white. And it took me a few minutes to get used to, a hot minute actually, to get used to working with the G-hook and that skinny thread. It's about a 2, I believe. And it's quite fine compared to what I usually work with, like DK or worsted. So to me, I look at it like this. If I really want to do it, I'm going to do it. And that's the biggest hook, really, I think, that would look decent with it. And not have to be too tight that I get carpal tunnel issues. But it's like when you switch from your regular hook size to a smaller hook size, it's like you've been roller skating all day and then you take off your roller skates. That's what it feels like. It's just weird and awkward. So this still looks a bit shiny, but it's getting there. We'll just keep talking for a minute. I think the Miracle Gel, Sally Hansen Miracle Gel, dries faster. So the I haven't titled the new cardigan yet, but it's basically a shawl turned cardigan by placing a square section on the back side and then leaving arm openings for, you know, low arm openings for the arms, but you're going to make a T basically with a square at the bottom and then a T at the top that is the stole size that goes as long as you want it. But mine, I think I just kind of threw my Wild Violets cardigan piece on that I had two rectangles sewn together at the shoulder. I just kind of threw that on and kind of measured down 1/2 of what I wanted, and then I marked that piece, and then I made my chain double that, my starting chain for the new project. So, and it's so easy because there's so many stitches to cast on, but you don't have a stitch total. What you have is 4. You're looking for a multiple of 4 plus a couple other stitches. So I just kept counting to 4 over and over again until it got to the length I wanted. So then I kept counting to 4 again, you know, once I met that halfway point on my other marked garment. I just doubled it basically, and it's just the right length that I want. It may grow a little bit since it's cotton, but it's so fine. It doesn't feel like it's got much stretch to it. It doesn't feel like it's going to be the stretchy kind of cardigan or cotton, and it's not like fluffy cotton or chunky. It doesn't look like there's a lot of twist to it, so I don't think we're going to see a lot of stretch out of it. But the way I'd like to do this ideally is that people get involved and they comment and everything, and we can do some live chats with that project, but just start the project with everyone else or just a step ahead. And anybody that wants to wait till it's completed, they could still, you know, go back in and look through the playlist and watch and make one for themselves. So I want to have mine done for spring. I love spring and fall are my 2 favorite seasons. But I thought, you know, it's dressy and casual. I think it'd be just fine to ride a bike with. I had bought a new bike when I started college in 2011, and I'm going to go ahead and start with this charcoal gray now. I bought a new bike and put some money into it, buying a bike, and it was a good investment. It's a great bike. It's called a Townie Electra, and I upgraded my seat, got a wide seat for it. It's a nice cushy seat, and then I also bought a bell. And when I rode through town before, little kids would stop and they'd say, "I love your bike," even little boys. And it's like this color of lavender, and it's the old-fashioned style bike, so it looks old. And I bought the bell, and when they would see me and talk to me, I would ring my bell at them. Be like, ding, 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 ding. So you can see there's quite a stark contrast between these 2 colors, and I don't care, because you can see how that's lighter there because I didn't put it on as thick. I'll do that up toward the middle. I really want my gradient to be, you know, to blend well toward the middle. So I'm not going to go up too far on this hook. And then I also like to dry brush and drag toward the tip, toward the hook, once you're getting close to the middle. That way it's more of an ombre effect. Right now I'm going pretty dark, pretty thick consistency. This is not the rapid dry. This is the diamond strength. It does seem to be using, because this is thinner polish, it seems to be using less polish for this one than my other ones with the Miracle Gel and the finger paints. The finger paints, I don't care for those. I got those from Sally Beauty Supply, and they dry matte, and they show every overlap pretty bad, so you definitely got to have glitter with that one. Okay, I am about to the point where I want to start doing more of a dry brush look. Almost there. Do just a tad bit more. Okay, so I'm going to go around and hit that pretty heavy where it's at right now so that I can dry brush and drag from there up toward the top. I can't believe I'm teaching anyone how to do this right now. This is just my third hook. But it's, you know, it's like painting your fingernails. Okay, so I'm going to swipe half of my polish off of that brush. Dip in just a little bit. Don't go too heavy with swiping. And just dry brush. You just keep doing the same thing. Just kind of knock some of the polish off one side and use the more bare side. Probably have to dip in a couple times to do that. I might need to re-wet. I'm going to turn over to the wet side. Re-wet right there. Turn back to the dry side. So you really can get one of these done in less than 2 hours. It's possible. And then since I just have the one glitter, I may grab another glitter later. We'll see. I don't want heavy coverage at the top. I want this periwinkle to shine through some. So I want to be careful with my glitter as well. So right now we're kind of just getting rid of that harsh line of demarcation. And don't worry about if it's really, really thin in spots and then really, really thick, or you hit a bump and you can't fill that bump in. I'm not even going to worry about it. The glitter's probably going to get it. If it doesn't, it's okay. It'll just look more like a fossilish. Is that a word? Fossilish? So that's that so far. A little bit, almost half and half. I've even learned to close the bottles with one hand. I really need to get my glasses on. I'll try not to vape so much in here that it looks like we're at some rock concert. So it's dry up here now. You can handle it as much as you need to once you're dry. It's not really going anywhere. If you get a little booger, let it dry and file it off and put some more paint on. So the tip I like to paint pretty solid. And then I have, and it's not in here, I'm going to have to go get it, but I have a nail art brush that's silver, glitter silvery. And I put the letter of the hook. See if I can see it, that you can see. Okay, that one's got an H on it. So I'm going to put a little H on there with my nail art brush. And sometimes if you get into these little cracks, and this extra nail polish will just scratch right off of that hook if you get it onto the hook. So no worries whatsoever. I think they're quite exquisite for being just nail polish and clay, you know. This periwinkle, hard as nails, kind of, it's not real glossy. It doesn't have any glitter to it. I probably should have gotten something with a little pearlescent. There is, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little bit of pearlescent, black pearl shimmer to the dark color. So I'm going to start with glitter down here first. So this has got to dry for a hot minute. I'm going to set it right here. And well, let's just for kicks go in there and make sure I'm in a safe zone and no polish here. Sorry about this looking kind of dirty. It's the back side. I'm going to go in there and grab the new cardigan project. Be right back. I want you to see how well the hook stands up in the spool, in the middle of the spool. Just gently moving it out of the way for now. Okay, here is the cardigan start. So I did not have to count hundreds of stitches. I just kept going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it, you know. And if you stop counting, you stop chaining, just take a stitch marker and put it through your loop that you're on. One of those little silicone, I think that's the only thing that Boy sells that I like, is their silicone ring stitch markers. Those are great, they lock, but a lot of times you don't even have to lock it. So here is the stitch pattern. And it is the same as my Wild Violets cardigan. There's puff stitches, solid row of shells, a compensating row, and then solid double crochet rows. There's also a regular fillet. So it's all really fillet as you skip every other stitch on every other row. And all the alternate rows are solid double crochet. So I think it's going to be quite lovely, especially as we keep going out. Right now it's kind of on the magenta still, magenta blend, and getting up to the pink. So this is the bottom, you know, and it comes down, when I wrap it around myself, it comes down probably hip length on me, which is where I want it. If yours ended up a little too short, you can always add some stitches to the bottom. Just add some a lace border or something. So this basically gets wrapped around your shoulders like a stole. And then you would, let's just pretend we got a little one here. I'm gonna, if I have to make two for the series, then I'm just gonna make one for my granddaughter, one of them, maybe both of them, for the series to show you how to make it. But you've got it around you. And in the back, you leave the armholes. Pretend we're going to put armholes here. And then you're going to have a square right back here with, you know, armholes left open. So the front of it's going to wrap around you quite nicely. And then the square in the back, you know, we may do some shaping on that, make it kind of trapezoid. I don't know. So the name of this is either going to be Come Fly With Me, Living on the Edge. There was another one I thought of that was cute. Just Trust Me. So as we stitch it along together, just know that we're going to work it out. And that's what my goal is to help people learn to crochet without patterns. You know, this has a stitch pattern repeat, but it's not a pattern per se, it's a tutorial. So, you know, it's made to fit you. You're going to make it with your own hands, and you're going to learn things as you go along. And building our skill sets as a community, I like that idea. I don't think that we should have to log into 3 or 4 different sites if we even are lucky enough to find a pattern that it has a link that's live and not a dead link. And get sucked into all these advertising, heavily laden with advertisement blogs. So that is my goal, and just to help each other and grow as a YouTube community especially. So this looks like it's dry. Yeah, it's dry enough. I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the glitter. And you can hold it wherever you want to, really. When your polish is set up. Now I can't see myself. I need to move the camera just a bit. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, this one's got the wide brush. I need to make note of that. The Insta-Dry has the wide brush, and you want to, I pre-shook this, but you want to shake it up very well, since it has this heavy glitter that settles to the bottom first ahead of all the other glitters. So, and it's not too thick or too thin. It looks like the glitter is going to stay put where we want it. It's just so relaxing to do this. I love it. And there's some chunkier bits of glitter in this one. The chunkier bits, I don't know if you can see it, but they look like little strobe lights. See there? Just glistens and glistens and glistens. I love it. I almost always put glitter at the edges of my nails. If I don't do the full nail, I'll at least do tips of glitter, because it helps it stay on better. I wash my hands a lot on the job, and that glitter really keeps it strong. I'm getting a little glare from the camera light. It's hard for me to see where I've been, if I have enough. So I put it on the heaviest towards the base. Yeah, that looks good to me. And I pretty much do the glitter, almost solid coat of glitter on the black part. This has a good range of sizes of glitter within this polish in particular. So you get a pretty good effect, almost like a nebula. Okay, and as I get towards the middle here, I'm wiping the back side of the brush off more. I'm also going to take some longer strokes so that it overlaps a little bit onto the lighter blue. I think I'm going to run in to the room and grab my skinny nail art brush with the silver for the label on the bottom. This is a G hook, put the G on the bottom. And I'm also going to grab my other smaller particulate glitter as well. So right now it's kind of got an ugly line of demarcation. I wouldn't say it's ugly, but I am trying not to start straight on the periwinkle. Try to start from the darker color and go up so that it starts to slow. Hi guys, I wanted to come back real quick at the end of this video and show you the finished hook from last night. This is her in all her beauty. I hope that this is not too bright. Let me turn one of the lights off real quick. So I think we got too much light. Yeah, I think that's better. So we've got the ombre. It's even prettier in person. This one's still setting up because I just put another clear coat on it. Love it. This is the first one I did. This is the second, and it's got some of the silver swirls on it. That one's a boy hook. This is a Bates H, and this one is a Bates G hook. And they are all labeled on the bottom. That one's got a G, but it got kind of goobered up. I might go over that again with the silver. We'll see. It's still got, you know, clear coat setting up, like I said, so not too worried about it. I'm going to stick it back in the spool of thread there to dry a bit more. But I am very, very happy with my hooks, having fun doing them. I just don't think I'm going to do these all the time because what I really want to do is stitch. But I just wanted to show you in the daylight how good the new one looks. Very, very pretty, pretty, pretty. My nails match now. I did my nails this morning. I've also made myself a to-do list for the day. And I've checked off learn editing and merging. So I've been able to merge my videos from last night. And now I'm going to add this clip to it. Talk to you later. Peace out.